Hello, and welcome to our last lesson in week 12, where we're going to look at the next form of a line, and it's called standard form. So by the end of today, I'm hoping that you'll be able to graph a linear function in standard form, find the x and y intercepts, and convert an equation from slope-intercept form to standard form. So here we go. So x-intercepts and y-intercepts. We've talked about a y-intercept in the last lesson. What's an x-intercept? So let's use what we know about y-intercept to figure out what an x-intercept is. Well, the point where the graph crosses the y-axis was the y-intercept. So the point where the graph crosses the x-axis is the x-intercept. So let's see this blue line here crosses the x-axis at 9. So the x-intercept is the point 9, 0. And the y-axis, or the y-intercept, is where it crosses the y-axis, which is the point 0, 3 in this problem. So if we give some meaning to this problem, we'll say that y is burritos and x is tacos. What this is saying is, I could buy 9 tacos if I don't buy any burritos. And alternately, you could look at, if I buy 0 tacos, I could get 3 burritos. Right? The intercepts are where there is 0 for one of the values. So it is easier to find the intercepts when an equation is in standard form. So what is standard form? It's ax plus by equals c. Now that looks kind of confusing. Don't be too confused by this. A, b, and c are just real numbers. They're just numbers. A and b cannot equal 0. So you're going to have numbers there that are not 0. X and y, big thing I want you to see is x and y are on the same side of the equal sign. With slope-intercept form in the last lesson, they were on opposite sides of the equal sign. It's a major difference. So here's an example of a problem written in standard form. 2x plus 6y equals 18. We're going to find the x and y intercepts from this equation. So again, the two locations where the graph has values equal to 0 are the x and y intercepts. So to find the x-intercept, you want to make y equal 0. So I'm going to put 0 in for y. When I do that, 6 times 0 is 0, and that 2x plus 0 is just 2x. So the left-hand side just becomes 2x equals 18. Divide by 2, I get x equals 9. And so that is the point 9 and y equals 0. So 9, 0. To find the y-intercept, you put 0 in for x. So 2x plus 6y equals 18. 2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 6y is just 6y equals 18. Divide by 6, I get y equals 3. So that is the point 0 for x and 3 for y. Now, if I plot those 2 points, I get the same line that was on the previous slides. Okay, so 9, 0 and 0, 3 give me the line I have there. Now, one thing I do want you to see is that the slope cannot be found just by looking at my graph, or sorry, my equation. You can, if I look at my original equation, 2x plus 6y equals 18, the slope is not seen there. The slope is actually -3 over +9 or -1/3. Again, not seen in the equation, right? So differences between slope-intercept form and standard form. Standard form here, it's easy to find 2 points, specifically the x and the y-intercept. With slope-intercept form, it's easy to find the slope and the y-intercept. So in this one, I know that the slope is -2/3. In standard form, I don't know what the slope is by just looking at it. In this standard form, I can find that the x-intercept is 9 and the y-intercept is 6. But down here, in slope-intercept form, I can't find the x-intercept very easily. Okay, so there are some differences. So it's good to be able to convert from one to the other. So we're going to convert this one, which is in slope-intercept form, to standard form. And I talked about at the beginning of this lesson that in standard form, x and y are on the same side of the equal sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the x over there with y. So I'm going to subtract 4/5 x from both sides. And there you have -4/5 x plus y equals 7. Now, we don't typically have a or b be fractions. So we're going to clear the fraction. How do I clear the fraction? Well, I could multiply the whole equation by 5. So 5 times -4/5 gives me -4x. 5 times y equals 5y, and 5 times 7 is 35. So I've just converted this problem from slope-intercept to standard. Okay, so a word problem. A 100-point test has some questions worth 2 points each and other questions worth 4 points each. If 21 questions are worth 4 points each, how many questions in the test are worth 2 points each? A lot of words there. Let's break it down. Let's define the variables. We're going to let the number of 2-point questions be X, which means the number of 4-point questions is going to be Y. So we're going to write the equation in standard form. So if I have 4 2-point questions, that would be 8 points, right? So 2 times 4 would give me 8. If I have 5 2-point questions, that'd be 10 points, 2 times 5. If I have X number of 2-point questions, 2 times that number is going to give me the total points for the number of 2-point questions, which is 2X. I can do the same thing with the 4-point questions. 4 times Y gives me the number of points for the 4-point questions. If I add the points from the two together, I will get 100, which is where the equation comes from there. Now I have some additional information. I have 21 questions worth 4 points. I don't know the number of 2-point questions. So X equals the number of 2-point questions. 4 times 21 will give me how many points are on there from the 4-point questions. So there's 84 points on there from the 4-point questions, which means that there's 16 points left. Divide by 2. That means that there's 8 2-point questions. 8 questions worth 2 points each. Okay, and that concludes week 12, lesson 3 in week 12. You'll be getting ready for your assessment soon.